Do you consume hate about yourself?
It's not even funny, I just don't care. Someone messaged me and said, oh, you know you're getting Reddit hate. I'm like, why are you telling? Like, what do you expect me to say to you? Like, thank you so much. I will go and like file an FIR against these people. Of course, I'll get Reddit hate at some point in my internet career. It's fine. I went and looked and I was like, this is so funny. I was like, it's a comedy show happening right in front of me. So I just don't care.
I know I said we'll be talking to creators in this series, but this episode is with a friend who also happens to be a creator. Nona Uppal is an author, marketer, and digital creator who started out by posting her writing on Instagram and now posts book and film recommendations as well as lifestyle content. Having known her for so long, I love how she manages to infuse so much of her personality into her posts. And I feel like I do have a pretty good idea of what her feed could look like. This is Digital Diet, a series where we explore the curious corners of the internet that our favorite creators dwell in. You know, when I was thinking about having this conversation, it feels wrong to even call it a show or a podcast because this is just like a conversation that we...
Yeah, this is feeling like debate prep that we used to do before like entering the debating room.
True. I wasn't sure how to structure it because I feel like I've watched your journey from like person to creator or like private account to public account, maybe we can call it that, on the internet, and getting that first-hand view I feel shows you the intimate realities of what creation as a process is like, which I think for me for the first time I was getting to see with you. But I think the best place to start just talking about your internet would be at the beginning. What is the first memory you have of the internet? What were you doing on the internet when you were first on it?
I was talking to boys. That's all that I cared about. I cared that I had a Facebook account. I remember my first memory of the internet is my sister, who's come up a lot in behind the story conversations, had promised me that the second that I'm done with like class 6, like my final exam result comes in, I can join Facebook. So I come back home from school and she says yes. And then my friends are on the balcony of one of my friends' house and I scream and I'm like, I can finally join Facebook. And they were all 2 years elder to me. Okay. So they were already on Facebook. And that was like the beginning of an era. I was talking to like 5-10 boys at the same time. I don't know what sort of wilding I was doing.
Player Nona,
yeah,
in 6th grade.
In 6th grade. I really lived out all of my like great like dating fantasies back in like middle school. That's what the internet was for me. It was really just I'm joking about the boys part, but it was a medium to like express myself to these people that I didn't have constant 24/7 access to, is what I remember it being. And I feel like even to this day, somehow in parts, it continues to be that.
But for the large part, it's probably gone from this private space to where you post to family and friends to sort of posting to an audience of where are we at today? What's the count?
We're at 149K.
How does it feel to go from posting for like friends and family and boys to like posting to this audience of 149,000?
It feels great. I feel like I always grew up having this kind of, and it's strange, but I do think that you'll hear this from anyone who has acquired fame. I feel like a lot of people that pursue that tend to have always wanted that. And I feel like I grew up being like, oh, I want to be famous. So I don't know why. There's no logic to that. There's nothing that in your formative life like builds you up to that. At least I don't think so. But that was always a concern in my head. So now it feels like an actualization of everything that I wanted. And it feels great because it feels like it's not coming from a space of any fabricated self or anything that can be taken away from me. It's just me online and it's very take it or leave it. And
doing something you've always wanted to do anyway.
Doing something that I've always done as well, not just always wanted to do. And whether my stock is up or down, it doesn't really matter because it's just who I am at the end of the day. So
I think that's a very healthy way to look at it, especially seeing the attention economy side of the internet. But I'd love to hear how this perception of fame on the internet maybe first came into your head. Were you looking at people posting, creators that you were consuming back when? I'd love to hear the story, in fact.
I feel like it doesn't really have a lot of like outward... The idea of celebrity has always really fascinated me. I mean, I grew up watching a lot of Hannah Montana. So my biggest passion growing up was I wanted to become like a rock star who's performing on the stage and belting out songs about like every boy that's let me down. And I think all of that stemmed from just this intense need to be seen and perceived. Now, again, where that stems from is probably for a therapist session, not us talking. But I think that was my first visual reference, which was the reference of the celebrity. So a Hannah Montana, a Taylor Swift, watching like countless Shah Rukh Khan interviews on Coffee with Karan and just wanting to emulate his charm. Just thinking that there's something so different about a person that puts themselves out there to be perceived by millions of people, and the kind of like, I don't know, self-assuredness that would take to be that. Those are my initial reference points. And of course, with the coming in of like the influencer, like I vividly remember that boho girl being the first person I would think of like, oh, I clocked that she's an influencer, or Sejal Kumar. But back when I was consuming their content, I really didn't think that this is the kind of like celebrity that will eventually end up becoming mainstream. So there wasn't really any connect with like the influencer to celebrity pipeline. But I guess now it's all
It's an
blurry.
overlap. Yeah. It's like that anyway. You started posting on Instagram, I think, primarily, and that's what you still do.
Yes.
Is that your primary space of consumption as well as creation?
Oh yeah. News, politics, friendships,
All on Instagram.
romance, TV recommendations, comedians, movies, quotes, literature.
You're
What is
watching
not-
movies on Instagram.
I'm watching clips and being like, oh yeah, I've seen that movie in conversations. Like, I've seen Frances Ha. I know one quote from Frances Ha, and the fact that it's black and white.
The fact that you look across the room from each other and you make eye
And
contact,
it's
that
one
quote.
moment, yeah. And the fact that it's in black and white is all that I know. So I mean, it's I'm consuming so much micro content on there that I feel very well read in a way that I am not. I'm aware, but just enough to skate by, like life. And like knowing everything on the surface, that might be a little counterintuitive, but it's the way that it's.
Side note, but that's how quizzing works. Like, you haven't had to read a book to be able to answer any questions about it.
That's how school tests also work.
That's
no,
true.
You just,
Boards also.
Yeah. The schools. This is what schools taught us. That's
Yeah.
what Instagram is, just tapping into everything that is carnal to Indian society or like global society.
And how do you feel about creating in this space? Do you ever think about people consuming you from this lens, like just shallow consumption, or the fact that you're part of this algorithmic flow of content now?
So I don't know if this exactly answers your question, but I have an interesting thing to say about that. So I make like 1 minute, 30-second videos, and these videos are book recommendations, like 9 out of 10 times. And what I'll do is I'll start talking about the video, I'll start talking about the book, and I'll add a hook, and I'll basically say something that I really liked about it, give the entire story.
Yeah.
And at the 1 minute, 20-second point is where the book reveal comes. So like, and scrolling through a reel is very tough to do on Instagram. And I also don't mention the book in my caption. So one day my friend who's also a reader is like, Nona, sometimes I'm just like, can you stop? Can you just get to the end? So I just want to know what the book is. And I'm like, that's my point. Of course, I can't fix the attention economy in a minute. Like I can't, as like a small creator on this like platform, fix things. But what I can do is be like, just watch the goddamn 1 minute, 30-second video, because it's not like I'm gatekeeping.
Yeah.
I'm telling you the entire story, and I am building engagement for me, because of course Instagram is algorithmic. So of course people are going to watch my, like if they watch longer, it's going to get recommended more. But also just coach yourself to be able to wait just for a minute and a half to get what you want. Like delayed gratification is really lost on the generation in general. And think of like, and I like to explain it in this way, like sexual tension is so great because it's like, it's the delayed gratification.
To us.
No, I'm just saying that that's
great.
some of the
I love
best
it.
things in life
Yeah.
come after a tiny bit of a wait. So yeah, that's my own like sort of like a fuck you to the attention economy. I hope it's working, but my friends are getting pissed off.
And when it happens to you, say you can see a creator sort of do these little tricks to keep your attention hooked, and they're gatekeeping something till gatekeeping is the wrong word, but keeping something till the end of the video. Do you accept it as is? You're like, "Okay, I fell for it. I'm gonna watch
As
it."
a creator, I accept it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I get it. I get why you're doing it. I don't know what your overall larger purposes are. Like my purposes are very holy. My purposes are to fix the attention economy. My purposes aren't engagement baiting. Just kidding. My purposes are both. So as a creator, I truly understand. But as a consumer, if it's not done well, that pisses me off, because I feel like I try to do it well.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm telling a story, so it's not like an unnecessary bait or a hook, because if the story is not exciting to you, you can always click off.
Yeah.
There's nothing like you can't believe this, or you won't believe what comes. I don't want to do those, and maybe that kind of a reactionary content is just not my style. But as a consumer, I think that you also have to like respect your audience, and if you are using tactics to any end, they have to be done well, is my take on it.
And do you appreciate well done content from other people?
I appreciate meaningful content that's not well done. Like some of my favorite content is shot in horrible lighting, with people showing up with like, I don't know, smudged mascara, or like people showing up in their night suits. I do that all the time, by the way. I feel like good content for me is just something that I take away from it. So some of my, like, if you go through my feed, my favorite reels are just like people in these really terribly lit rooms, just doing shairi for like 30 seconds and saying something so deep and meaningful, but like aesthetically it's all off. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. And that thing has like some 40,000 shares. I mean, that's what's clicking. Like, as long as you're providing some sort of a value, it doesn't really matter if your content is like, quote unquote, like, good or like good looking or like that conventionally good content. So I'm a big consumer of like half-assed things, but with like a full-hearted intention.
Who are some creators that you genuinely resonate with in terms of the authenticity of their content that you might also be following regularly, sort of developing that relationship with them and consuming them on the...
The funny thing about being asked names is that every name will just leave my system like the very second. I really like Ankita Hasselrani. I love her content. I don't know anything about relatability because we lead such different lives, but I just feel constantly driven to consume her content. I follow some fashion accounts, which I'm not a fashion person at all, but just... I feel like it's just something about the way that you show up for your passion that drives me like mad. Like you could be talking about fishing. And I have never been fishing in my life, nor do I desire to go. But if you are passionate about it, I'm going to follow. Like just today, I stumbled upon like a dermatologist who just talks about like skincare so passionately. And I'm just like, in such a crowded space, you made me kind of like get hooked onto your content. And I think that's what everything boils down to, the personality. Niche, genre, all of that's irrelevant because you bring such a unique flavor of yourself. But yeah, I mean, Indian content creators, I'm trying to think. I'm coming up short.
That's okay. We can come to it later.
I love your content.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, of course, seeing you as like a content creator is also very tough because that's not the first or even the 10th word that will come to my mind. But I love your content because it also brings such a you-ness to it.
Thank you.
So I think for me, it's always that. Like, I will always forget the niche that you exist in, but I will remember like quirks and mannerisms and your general sensibility that will, I don't know, go much beyond your subject matter.
And that will make you follow someone. Like that resonates with them.
If I see someone who gives amazing book recommendations, but their vibe is like off. Like, for instance, 10 recommendations that I've seen of theirs are all 5 stars for me and 5 stars for them. So we're booked like soulmates. But something about their vibe throws me off. Never. I will never follow them. I am not a strategic follower at all. Like, I need to fully vibe with you as who you are as a person. I know this one really cool person. Her account is called Shriyam.
Okay.
I just spoke to her. She has a smaller account. I think she has some 13,000 followers. And I was like, how? You should have 1 million followers. She makes the best, most funny, authentic content, just like a young girl living her life, making like, I shopped this today and I made this coffee today. And I'm just like, wow, you're so authentically yourself. I can see you having 1 million followers one day. So I just, it doesn't matter. I just need to see you being your truest self, which I think just shows as a person on social media. Or maybe I just have like a really good vision. What I consume, we can come to that later as well, but what I consume is a lot of fashion because that's what I aspire to be. Like, I love clothes, but I don't know how to style them. So I'm just like, I will never in my life find anyone who's half as fashionable as these like 10 people on my feed. So I want that. I want the latest sneakers on my feed because I want to see what's cool. I want some celebrity gossip because I want talking points because I'm recently realizing that I'm an extrovert and that I have to pull a lot of the weight in conversations with people, and just having talking points really helps. So I feel like I try to curate is the wrong word because I've never done anything with intention in my life, but I try to create through magic. A feed, an explore page that caters to
it's
my
genuinely
aspiration of who I wish I was, which is a fashionable, intelligent, sneakerhead.
You already are at least a few of those things.
Based on just like my recent obsessions. But yeah,
I think this is a great time for us to actually go through your feed.
I wasn't informed of this in advance.
At all. You've not done anything to your explore page to make it look
I haven't
intellectual.
done anything at all.
Can
I
you
haven't
please
like
see it?
marked not interested on things that are slightly problematic. And by the way, a very open book kind of a person.
ठीक है,
I
literally
feel like
books.
everything about my life is for the record.
You were not lying though. There's a lot of fashion here, and
There's so much fashion, isn't it?
There's clearly a lot of Taylor Swift gossip going on as well.
Taylor Swift gossip is very off-brand.
But the Twitter posts
like,
about
yeah.
Taylor Swift, I think it's like similar gang. I'm seeing a lot of makeup and skincare also, which I think aligns
Makeup
fairly
and
well.
skincare is quite, I think a lot of people would guess that. I'm quite a shopaholic when it comes to makeup. Like just today, I was like, oh, should I just buy something randomly that I don't need? So I think that, I feel like a lot of my shopaholic tendencies won't reflect on
Do you
my
get
personality.
influenced with what you see online though?
All the time. I was looking at these shoes, like some American creator wearing these shoes, and I was like, pretty pair.
Yeah.
And then I reverse Google search because now I'm pro at finding out. I never have to comment where are these from. I've got myself. Like I don't need the creator to tell me. I'm like, you gatekeeping to me, to a smart girl. Anyway, I reverse Google search, and they're like $40,000. And I'm like,
That's not a lot. I think you could get them.
for a pair of shoes?
It's okay, get.
Sacrilegious.
You deserve it, I think, Nona.
No, so that was supposed to be my joke, but you've kind of like cornered it because my joke was I was honestly considering it for 5 minutes. And then I had a reality check.
I'm kidding. I think you should be wiser with your money.
I am. That's why I didn't hit purchase. But I feel like I shouldn't be wiser with my desires.
Yeah, fair enough. I can see dogs, which ties in entirely with the personality that I know of you.
I'm a very like dogs greater than human, wearing that on a t-shirt kind of a person. Or like if you have a dog at home, can I come? Like I'm that cliche.
I really like your feed. I think this is honestly maybe because I know you, but like solid 8, 9 on 10 in terms of relatability because I also being in the same age group.
Give 10 on 10. What is this? Like solid 9 on 10.
Thoda sa it's
Hair dye, one bang cutting video I put in there and you'll be like, yeah, 10 on 10. I had bangs, is that not enough? So my feed thinks I'm broken up with, that I am in a marriage, that I have kids, that I have dogs, that I live
dogs
in Australia.
It thinks. Yeah.
So I really like the fact that I'm being treated as that concept that I so desire to be. Like I reposted this story today that at any point, anything that I'm reposting can be a representation of my past, present and future. So if you think you know me, you don't know me at all. Because my internet activity is an amalgamation of every person I've ever been.
And will ever
Which is so
be.
true. Like sometimes I'm posting breakup
मुझे
memes.
तो बहुत मजा आता है देख के because I can understand for a non-looker that would just be like, oh,
it's so funny.
and that makes me think of what I as a consumer also sometimes feel because you I know. So I know there's not been a breakup. This is like a funny thing that you're sharing. But for someone who I don't know.
I don't know. I find it interesting, definitely, the consumption of relationships on social media. But that's a topic for, I think, a whole another podcast.
I want to see your screen time.
You can see
I
my
do it?
Instagram screen time first. Yeah.
Can I see it on the app itself? Looking at it, time spent.
Please bleep it out if it's obnoxious.
It's not a lot.
What is it?
Your daily average is 2 hours, 54 minutes.
That's 3 hours of my day.
Yeah. Congratulations. But the way you were talking about it, I was like 5, 6 hours, something is
No,
going
my
into
phone screen time. But mostly I'm on my phone for Instagram. Yeah, maybe it's not so bad. But I would say like 3 hours spent on Instagram is
It's quite a
bad.
lot. Yeah. My total screen time is like 8 hours. I've really cut
Check
it down.
mine. I
Used
really
to
don't
be
know what mine
12.
is.
I don't understand iPhones. You show me.
You have an iPhone.
And that's just for fun. I aspired to be an iPhone girlie, so I was like, maybe I can get one. Your daily average is 5 hours, 30 minutes, out of which 3 hours is 20 minutes. That's quite a lot.
That's it. But honestly, can I say something? That's half an hour of that is like the editing of the video.
Yeah.
Like half an hour is editing, half an hour is engaging.
Yeah.
So that much though I have to allow myself.
Do you dislike it? Your screen time?
I don't let it affect me. Other than my eyesight's still 20/20.
Not mine. Thanks for pointing that out.
So I've been like chronically hooked to the screen since I was like 10 years old. And my eyes are going so strong. I am a very I don't get influenced kind of a person. So if I look at like someone looking prettier than me, someone having a life that I don't have, I'm like, great. Like envy or like jealousy is not a very I don't know, like a very natural feeling to me. So I think a lot of the things that social media really fucks up for you, those things just my personality protects me from, and it's just fun. And then I turn it off and then I read.
Nona, we've spoken about you having strong opinions or preferences for the kinds of content that you consume. And of course, there's this large community that you've built and external audience who may not just come across you on their internet. And I'm sure a lot of them also have strong opinions about what you make, and that can manifest in terms of critical comments or like hate. मतलब मैं इसे बहुत formally पूछ रही हूँ, but हाँ, मतलब we know like it exists. Do you consume? I mean, in general, hate exists on the internet. Do you consume hate about yourself? Like, do you read comments? Are you reading messages? And do you respond, if ever, to them?
I am so above it. Honestly, it's not even funny. I just don't care. Which reminds me, a funny thing happened recently, and they were like, this person, I shouldn't probably say this because now people will go up and look at it. But someone messaged me and saying, oh, do you know you're getting Reddit hate? I'm like, why are you telling me? Like, what? What do you expect me to say to you? Like, thank you so much. I will go and like file an FIR against these people. Of course, I'll get Reddit hate at some point in my internet career. It's fine. I went and looked and I was like, this is so funny. It's so funny how wrong they are about things that they think that they're so right about. I was like, it's a comedy show happening right in front of me. So I just don't care. And I'm just like, if that is the kind of hate that people are talking about me, think of how wildly wrong people are about other creators on the platform. And more than that, it's just like, I genuinely just look to myself and I'm like, I have never, ever, ever in my professional career of being a content consumer, that was the word that I was looking for. In my very long career of being a content consumer, ever left a critical comment. Ever. If I've not liked someone's stuff, I've just keep scrolling. I'm not even unfollowed. I've been like, yeah, bye. It's just like, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to comment on my friends' posts. And I was like, how do I have the time to comment on strangers? So I just think. And then, second, some of the smartest people I know are chronically offline. So I think that these are the wrong crop who are hating. And I don't care. And honestly, what will you get if you engage? Do you think like me writing a 300-word answer is going to make them change my opinion of me? Change their opinion of me? No. So I was like, what do? I don't care. I genuinely don't care. And there was a point that I did used to care a lot. But then I feel like you have to stop caring. Because it's a consequence of growth. And I think for me, the love so far outweighs the bad. Like so far outweighs anything bad that I don't really give it any time of day.
I like when it's positive or like positively
that's
critiquing.
That's not hate, nah, then. That's
that's constructive criticism on work. Like, I think you missed out on XYZ, or I think all your reels have this privilege.
Sometimes that can come across as a little backhanded though. Like this, oh, I know more than you. And you didn't.
When it comes from men, sometimes.
Like one time, like Ethan Hawke. Of course, I know he's a big goddamn hotshot actor. Okay, I'm the biggest consumer of Before Sunrise trilogy. And I mentioned him casually in my reel as the guy who just showed up in Taylor Swift's music video because that was the last thing he'd done. And I was like,
that's clearly a joke.
It's a joke. The guy was like, oh, Ethan Hawke did XYZ movies and is getting called a Taylor Swift music video actor by this. I was like, मैं उसकी पूरी filmography list करूँ क्या before saying his name? मेरी मर्जी.
I think it's also a reality of being a creator, but also a reality of being a woman on the internet. Like, you're more open for dissection. I think we've spoken a lot about the negative side of the internet, but also about the positive side of yours, because I think your community is also overwhelmingly just friendly.
They're so nice.
Like, every time I comment on your pictures, like 10 people like it. I'm like,
they follow you. They're like, oh, you know Riya Jobs. I really like her. I found her through you. I'm like, that is the point. My community feels like it's the internet equivalent of a hug. Honestly, everyone I met in person has been a damn cool person. I'm like, I want to be your friend. And they sometimes feel intimidated by me because, of course, they've seen me on the internet, so they know a lot more about me than I do them. But I'm just like, wow, you're just as cool. In fact, probably cooler. Like, being on the internet is slightly uncool. Slightly cringe. Imagine you putting your fit checks. Who the fuck cares about my fit checks? Imagine.
When you watch others' content, do you think this? Tum fit check you down.
No, I think everyone in the world other than me is the coolest person alive.
Don't give yourself that kind of shit.
Cool, I can't call myself. I can call myself a lot. This is fine. I'm very at peace with the fact that I am not cool.
Achha.
I'm many things, but I'm not cool.
I'd love to know what is one thing that you think you wouldn't have without the internet? And I want one specific thing because I feel like the internet at large gives you a lot and it takes a lot as well. But one thing without the internet.
I don't think I mentioned it on this particular conversation, but I think I've told you somewhere that I really wanted to be like a singer growing up. I consumed a lot of Hannah Montana, a lot of Taylor Swift. A lot of these works that they made were very diaristic, which is I think how like my writing is as well. So a lot of these like singers, songwriters that I really liked, it wasn't necessarily their singing that drew me to them. It was the fact that they were telling stories through their songs and the fact that they were talking about heartbreak and all of these difficult, complicated emotions through music, which I could then belt out. So my logical conclusion was I really want to be a singer because this is what I want to do because I have so many feelings about so many boys that I just want to, and I would write songs at the back of my notebook or whatever. But like as fate would have it, my best friend is a great singer.
Yeah.
So what I did, my little 10-year-old self was like, see, my best friend is a singer means I can't be. I was like, oh, only she can be a singer and I don't want to take away from her glory.
Yeah.
Great thinking. She is this super talented singer. I'm like, mujhe nahi lena tumhara spotlight. I will sacrifice this. But that dream never left me.
Yeah.
I found a way to channel it into another direction, which is now I write. So I think I'm able to live some of that dream. But like as a kid, things that you want to be, they really stay with you. But growing up, no one fostered this. No one was like, you have a nice voice. No one said, you know, you're great. My parents won't pay for music classes. I was like, chalo, it's fine. Cut to now, I'm getting to do the storytelling part, but I think something that makes me very happy is that in my reels, I have this very like soft way of talking or whatever. So I get a lot of comments saying you have a really soothing voice. And it's the same comment every time, every day. 10 people will say it. And it's getting a little concerning to me because I'm like, it's not that soothing also. But anyway, I think I have a nice voice.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just healing some broken part of me that could never be a singer.
So sweet.
And it's very sweet because I grew up very insecure, feeling like, like if I had a nice voice, people would tell me, you know, start singing. And maybe I don't have a nice singing voice, but people like my voice. And I feel like in telling stories through my voice, I'm kind of like tapping into that little kid who wanted to be a singer who sacrificed it for her best friend. Like, what a warrior story. Anyway, so that I get a lot of these comments that you have a really soothing voice and I listen to your voice when I'm genuinely getting these comments like I listen to you, your reels after a long hard day and it makes me feel good. And I'm just like, that's the best compliment. Don't even compliment my writing. This just feeds my childhood dreams. And I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, but that's the answer I can think of.
I think that's a great answer. Very wholesome.
10 on 10.
Yeah, 10 on 10.
Thank
100%.
you.
Your voice also. You
Thank
also.
you. Oh,
I'm on your side.
yay.